Hey guys, Jared here. Um, I know a lot of my videos seem like I probably just woke up or I'm going to bed, and often that's true because hey, inspiration comes in the morning first when you wake up, and I find at nighttime too. Anyway, that's just a random note of mine. Today I wanted to talk about acceptance, um, specifically acceptance of yourself. And that doesn't have to be if you have a mental illness. It could just be of, your shortcomings, things that you need to work on, weaknesses, because no one's perfect. And being human means to have strengths and have weaknesses, and how to learn, in my opinion, to not let those weaknesses take you down and not let those weaknesses control you or make you unhappy or stop you from getting the things that you really truly want in life, but maybe you're too afraid to go after them. So there's that. Specifically, I did want to talk about acceptance when it does come to a mental illness. I was diagnosed, I guess, with anxiety um, about 10 years ago, and I guess I was about 21, 22, and it took a long time of kind of like my mom prodding me to be like, I think there's something wrong. I think you're anxious. I think you should talk to a doctor. And for a couple of reasons, I wouldn't listen to her. A, because of my ego, because you're 21. Hey, I don't have that shit. And also, we had a kind of a struggling relationship. There was a lot of butting heads and anger towards her, so she's the last person I was going to listen to. But finally, I realized, okay, hey, this isn't right. I shouldn't be so crazy anxious over this one little thing or nothing, or it just I can't do this anymore. It doesn't make sense. So I got diagnosed, started antidepressants, and throughout the past 10 years, even up till a few months ago, I couldn't fully truly accept that I had a mental illness, um, that I struggled with anxiety and depression. And I would have bouts throughout my life where I did accept it, and I was like, this is who I am. I need these medications. They help me. And you know what? I'm okay if I have to be on meds for the rest of my life. I had entered that place, and I have been there before, but I would always flip flop back and forth, and it was because I was ashamed. I was ashamed of who I was, ashamed that I had this thing. I felt like a freak. I felt like there was something wrong with me, like I was weak. I felt like I was crazy, Um, and I mean, granted, there has been some inappropriate reactions on my part, kind of losing my temper, overreacting. But it's really taken me to just come forward and just be open and honest with myself. But I've done that by sharing with others. In January this year, a mental health Bell's Let's Talk Day, which is about mental health. I finally just went on Facebook and shared how I've been feeling most of my life, and it was overwhelming the amount of support and love I got from from friends, acquaintances, old coworkers, old teachers from my high school. Like everyone was so supportive and amazing, and I did not expect that at all. I just I wanted to be honest with myself, and I was in pain and I needed to share. And so I just decided, screw it. I'm gonna do this. I got nothing to lose anymore. I got nothing to hide. I'm an open book, and I need to be honest with myself. So since then, And I was like suicidal, feeling suicidal at that time. Like I wanted to die. Like I didn't want to go on anymore because the pain and the intense feelings was just so much. I couldn't. It was too much to bear. I didn't think I could cope anymore. But since then, it's just been. I mean, it's been incredibly painful because I really had to be honest with myself and really just open up, almost like tear myself open. And that coincided with the most painful experience of my life, which was the breakup from my fiance, and that was kind of drawn out long and very painful. But from that moment, it opened this door into self acceptance and realization, actualization, whatever you want to call it. And more, the more I talk about it, the more videos I make, the freer I become. And it's gotten to a place where I realize I just want to help people. I just want to help them feel better, understand they're not alone, and maybe offer some tools or suggestions or just share my experiences in the hopes that they can gain something from that. So what started as me just needing to be free and be honest with everyone and myself has turned into something much more loving. I think that's beautiful. So with the self-acceptance, I think that is truly the first step to healing and recovery. Because this isn't who you're going to be forever. Yeah, you may deal with anxiety and depression your whole life, but it's not going to run your life. It's not going to define you. I don't let diagnoses and terms define who I am as a person. I know who I am, you know? So I feel like accepting that you have this thing, it I don't even want to call it a problem because once you start to accept it and overcome it, it can actually be a strength and a tool. And yeah, so just I think accepting, really accepting, like this is who I am right now, and I need medications. They help me. And if you don't need medications, that's fantastic. Great. Good for you. If you can power through by exercise, eating healthy, um, doing yoga, meditating, having supportive friends and family in your life, and living in a loving environment, and that's all you need. And that's great. And that's where I want to be eventually. I'd like to not be on meds. Right now, I recognize that I need them, and they help me. And that's not just okay, that's fucking awesome. It's good because I can go out there and be a productive member of society and be a friend and be a loving family member and not just wallow and stay in this pit of misery and take from everyone. You know, when I'm at my lowest, I feel like a piece of shit because I'm not giving back to any of my loved ones. I'm just taking from people because I feel like I'm drowning and I'm in this cocoon of despair and misery. And you can't give back. You can't have equal relationships, even relationships with others, you know. You know, and when you're like that, you're definitely not loving yourself. And it's what, like they say, you can't love someone else until you love yourself. And I realized that in my relationship. And, I'm sorry it went that way, but it was an inevitability. Um, So I think now we're both working on loving ourselves more and finding our passion and what drives us and figuring out who we are and what we want. Anyway, um, yeah, self-acceptance. Because by accepting that's who you are, you're better at getting to know yourself. You're loving yourself more. And I truly believe that once you know yourself, the more you know yourself, the more you know who you are exactly, you can go out there and do anything you want. You can get whatever the hell you want because you know without a doubt who you are, who your values are, what you want, what you don't want, and what you want your life to look like. So, yeah. So just try it. Be kind to yourself and remember it's not a weakness. It's it's like a personality trait. And always remember there are millions and millions of people going through the exact same thing or much, much worse. Okay? You know, if you're fortunate enough to be able to watch this video right now, then you're doing better than a lot of other people. You know? There's a lot of people out there that, schizophrenics, people that are on the street and have mental illnesses. Like that's so backwards and wrong. And anyways, I'm not gonna get into that. Anyways, self-acceptance. It's the same thing as self-love. Accept you have this thing, truly embrace it, and don't be ashamed. Don't beat yourself up. Don't hate yourself for it. I know you will sometimes, but that's okay. But just don't live there because it does not make you a weaker person. It doesn't mean you're defective. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. You just happen to be suffering from what a lot of us are suffering. And you can change it. There are lots and lots of things out there, so many resources that don't even cost anything for the most part, where you can go out there and change how you feel, change your brain, and change your life. Okay? All right, I love you guys. Peace.